Dr. Kate Morrison walked into the big meeting room on Space Station Alpha 7. Her heart was beating fast, but she kept her face calm. Around the huge round table sat creatures from 12 different planets. They were here to talk about the YAO, war against the Void Swarm, the scary aliens who had been attacking everyone for 3 years. The room was quiet when Kate entered, but soon she heard soft, laughing sounds. The aliens were making fun of her before she even spoke. "So this is the human who thinks she can save us all?" said Ambassador Zek from the reptile planet. His long tongue flicked out as he spoke. "She looks so small and weak. How can someone like her help us win a war?" Kate's boss, Admiral Bob Miller, sat next to her. He looked nervous and kept moving in his chair. The other humans at the table, Captain Mary Stone and Commander Paul Jackson, would not look at Kate. They seemed embarrassed to be there with her. Kate stood up and pressed a button on the table. A big screen showed her invention, something she called the reality breaker. "Device. This machine can stop enemy ships from working," Kate said in a clear voice. "It can also make our ships much stronger and faster." The crystal alien named Brightstar started glowing with angry red colors. "Humans think they are so smart, but we have been studying war technology for thousands of years. Your people only learned to fly in space 20 years ago." General Rockface, who looked like a walking mountain, laughed so hard the whole room shook. "We read your plans, little human. The power needed for this machine would burn up a whole sun. It is impossible." Kate had heard words like this her whole life. When she was a student, teachers said she was too young to understand hard science. When she became a scientist, other scientists said her ideas were crazy. When she joined the space military, the men said women could not build weapons. But Kate never gave up. Each time someone said she could not do something, she worked harder to prove them wrong. "I have been working on this project for 6 years, Kate said. "I know it sounds impossible, but I can make it work." The fish-like alien from the water world made bubbling sounds that meant laughing. "Impossible is the right word, human child. We have the best scientists in the galaxy. If we cannot build such a machine, how can you?" More laughter filled the room. Kate felt her face getting hot with anger, but she did not show it. The bird-like creature from Sky Planet flapped its wings. "Humans always think they can solve everything with bigger weapons. But some problems cannot be solved with force." Kate looked around the room at all the alien faces. Some looked mean, some looked bored, and some looked sorry for her. But none of them believed she could help. "6 months ago, you asked all the planets to send their best ideas for fighting the Void Swarm," Kate said. "Every species sent their top scientists and generals, but the enemy is still winning. They destroyed 5 more planets last month." The BAM room got quiet. Everyone remembered the lost planets and the millions of people who died. "Maybe," Kate continued, "the problem is not that you need better ideas from the same kind of thinking. Maybe you need a completely different way of looking at the problem," Ambassador Zek hissed. "What makes you think humans can see something we cannot? Your species is babies compared to us." Kate walked to the big window that showed the stars outside. "Because we are new, we do not know what is supposed to be impossible. Because we are different, we think in ways you do not." She turned back to face the council. "The Void Swarm ships work by connecting to other dimensions. What if, instead of trying to build stronger shields or bigger guns, we attack those connections?" The mountain alien General Rockface made a sound like rocks falling. "Even if your theory is right, no one has ever built a machine that can affect other dimensions. No one has tried the way I want to try," Kate said. Admiral Miller stood up and whispered to Kate, "Maybe we should go now. This is not going well." But Kate did not move. She looked straight at the alien council members. "I am not asking you to believe in me," she said in a strong voice. "I am asking for one chance to show you what humans can do." The crystal alien Brightstar glowed bright yellow with surprise. "What kind of chance? Give me one old ship that you do not need anymore. Give me a small crew of people who want to volunteer. Let me try my reality breaker device in a real battle." The whole room started talking at once. Aliens were making all kinds of sounds, hissing, bubbling, screeching, and growling. "This is crazy," said the bird creature. "We cannot waste a ship. and crew on an impossible dream. If her machine does not work, they will all die, added the fish alien. Admiral Miller grabbed Kate's arm. Dr. Morrison, please think about what you are asking. If you are wrong, you will kill good people. Kate looked at her boss with steady eyes. If I am right, I will save everyone. The Void Swarm's next big attack is coming soon. If we do not try something new, we will lose this war. The aliens talked among themselves in their own languages. Kate could not understand the words, but she knew they were arguing about her request. Finally, Ambassador Zek spoke for all of them. We will vote on your request, human female. One by one, each alien delegate voted. They all voted the same way. Yes, they would give Kate what she asked for, but Kate could see in their faces that they expected her to fail. You can have the old Earthship Brave Fighter, said General Rockface. It was going to be thrown away next month anyway. And you can ask for volunteers from any ship in the fleet, added Brightstar, but do not expect many people to want to join a suicide mission. Kate felt a mix of excitement and fear. She had gotten what she wanted, but now she had to prove she was right. If she failed, good people would die and everyone would say humans were too stupid to help in the war. Thank you, Kate said to the council. In 3 months, you will see what one human female can do when you give her a chance. As Kate left the meeting room, she heard the aliens start laughing again. They thought they had just watched a foolish human sign her own death sentence. But Kate was not worried about their laughter. She had work to do. In 3 months, she would either be dead or she would be the human who changed everything. The war was about to get very interesting. 3 months later, Kate stood inside the old ship Brave Fighter, looking at her amazing machine. The reality breaker device filled the whole cargo room. It looked like a giant flower made of glowing crystals, with bright blue energy running between the pieces like lightning. Kate had not slept much in 3 months. Every day she worked from morning until night, building her machine with her own hands. Her fingers were cut and burned from handling the special crystals, but she did not care. This machine would either save the galaxy or kill everyone on the HFY ship. Captain Dan Cooper walked into the room. He was the ship's leader, a man with gray hair and tired eyes. Dan had volunteered for Kate's mission when everyone else said it was too dangerous. How is it looking, Doc? Dan asked, watching Kate check the crystal connections for the 100th time. Almost ready, Kate said, wiping sweat from her face. 2 more days and we can test it. Dan had his own reasons for joining this crazy mission. 5 years ago, his last ship was destroyed by the Void Swarm. He was the only one who lived, and the space military blamed him for the disaster. No one would give him a good ship to command after that. When Kate asked for volunteers, Dan was the first person to say yes. Chief Engineer Rose Kim came running into the room. Her hands were black with oil and her hair was a mess. Kate, we have a problem with the power system. The ship's engines cannot make enough energy for your machine. Kate had expected this problem. Show me, she said. They walked through the ship's narrow hallways to the engine room. The Brave Fighter was 30 years old and had been used hard. The walls had rust spots, the lights flickered, and strange sounds came from the machines. Look at these numbers, Rose said, pointing to a screen full of red warning lights. Your reality breaker needs 10 times more power than this old ship can make. Kate smiled. That is why I built this. She showed Rose a small silver box. It is a power multiplier. It takes normal ship energy and makes it much stronger. Rose looked at the box like it might explode. Is this safe? Probably not, Kate said honestly. But it will work. The crew of the Brave Fighter was small, only 15 people, but each person had a special reason for being there. Navigator Mike Brown had been kicked out of the Space Academy for fighting. Weapons Officer Lisa White had been demoted for arguing with her commanders. Communications Officer Sam Davis had been passed over for promotion too many times. All of them were people the space military did not want anymore. All of them had found new hope working with Kate. Why did you really volunteer for this mission? Kate asked Sam one day while they were eating dinner in the ship's small kitchen. Sam looked up from his food. He was a quiet man who did not talk much about his past. My brother died when the Void Swarm attacked Colony 7. The big shot said there was nothing we could do to save him. I want to prove them wrong. Stories like this were common on the ship. Everyone had lost someone to the Void Swarm. Everyone had been told they were not good enough by the people in charge. Kate understood their feelings. Her whole life, people had said she was too young, too small, too female, too human. But she had learned that being different was not a weakness. It was her greatest strength. The Void Swarm ships work by connecting to other dimensions, Kate explained to the crew during a meeting. Think of it like a telephone call between two places. If you cut the telephone wire, the call stops working. Pilot Jenny Gray raised her hand. But how do you cut something you cannot see? Kate pointed to her reality breaker device. This machine creates a special field that breaks those connections. When a Void Swarm ship loses its connection to other dimensions, it becomes just a regular ship that we can fight. The crew was starting to believe in Kate's idea, but they all knew it was very dangerous. If the machine did not work, they would die. If the machine worked too well, they might tear a hole in space and destroy everything. Are you scared? Rose asked Kate one night when they were alone in the engine room. Kate thought about the question. Yes, I am scared, but I am more scared of doing nothing and letting the Void Swarm win. 2 weeks before the mission, Kate got a message from Admiral Miller back on Earth. Dr. Morrison, the Alien Council is watching your test very carefully. They think you will fail, and they are already planning what to do after you die. Do not make humanity look bad. Kate deleted the message without answering. She did not care what the aliens thought. She did not care what the Admiral thought. She only cared about proving that her machine could work. The night before they left for battle, Kate walked through the ship and talked to each crew member. She wanted to make sure they all understood what they were about to do. We are going to fight the biggest Void Swarm fleet anyone has ever seen, she told them. The regular space military thinks we will all die in the first 5 minutes. Captain Cooper crossed his arms. What do you think will happen, Doc? Kate looked at each person's face. These were not the best soldiers in the galaxy. They were not the smartest scientists or the bravest fighters, but they were people who believed in doing the impossible. I think we are going to show everyone what happens when you give humans a chance to prove themselves, Kate said. The crew cheered. Tomorrow, they would either make history or become history, but tonight they were ready for anything. The space around planet Kepler was full of explosions and fire. Kate watched from the bridge of the brave fighter as 25 big warships fought against 300 Void Swarm vessels. The enemy ships looked like giant black insects with wings that bent space around them. Their weapons shot purple beams that cut through the strongest shields like they were made of paper. This is Admiral Ross on the battleship Thunder King, came a voice over the radio. All small ships fall back to the second defense line. That is an order. Captain Cooper looked at Kate. What do you want to do, Doc? Kate's hands were shaking as she watched another human ship explode in a ball of fire. Hundreds of people had just died. But she knew that if they ran away now, millions more would die when the Void Swarm reached Earth. Take us into the middle of their fleet, Kate said. Cooper's eyes went wide. Are you crazy? We are one small ship against 300 monsters. Trust me, Kate said, running to her reality breaker device in the cargo room. This is what we came here to do. The brave fighter was much smaller than the big warships, so it could fly between the enemy vessels without being noticed right away. Kate's crew worked fast to get the ship into position while she made final checks on her machine. Kate, we have a problem, called Chief Engineer Rose from the engine room. The power multiplier is getting too hot. If it overheats, the whole ship could explode. How long do we have? Kate asked. Maybe 10 minutes before it melts down. Kate felt cold fear in her stomach, but she pushed it away. 10 minutes would have to be enough. All crew, this is Kate, she said over the ship's speakers. Reality breaker device going active in 60 seconds. Get ready for something no one has ever seen before. Navigator Mike Brown looked up from his controls. Kate, there are 50 enemy ships all around us now. They are starting to notice we are here. Through the window, Kate could see the nearest void swarm ship turning toward them. It was 10 times bigger than the brave fighter, with tentacles that moved like they were alive. Purple energy was building up around its weapons. 30 seconds, Kate announced. Pilot Jenny Gray's voice was tight with fear. That big ship is about to shoot at us. 20 seconds. Weapons Officer Lisa White tried to sound brave. Our little guns will not even scratch their armor. 10 seconds. Kate put her hand on the activation switch. Around her, the crystal flowers of her machine started to glow brighter and brighter. The air itself seemed to vibrate with power. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now. Kate pulled the switch. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then space itself began to ripple like water around the brave fighter. The ripples spread out in all directions, moving faster than light, washing over the void swarm ships like invisible waves. The effect was amazing to watch. The first enemy ship that the waves hit just stopped moving. Its purple weapons went dark. Its tentacles stopped waving. It became as dead as a rock floating in space. "My God," whispered Communications Officer Sam Davis. "It is actually working." But Kate was not finished.
As more enemy ships were caught by the reality-breaking waves, she started the second part of her plan. The machine did not just stop enemy technology, it could also make friendly ships much more powerful. All human ships, this is the Brave.
"Fighter," Kate said into the radio. "Lock onto my signal for tactical boost." The 25 surviving human warships suddenly found their weapons hitting with perfect accuracy. Their shields became strong enough to stop attacks that should have destroyed them. Their engines pushed them faster than they had ever gone before. Admiral Ross's voice came over the radio, full of shock. "What in the hell is happening out there? My ship's power readings just doubled." "That is Kate Morrison showing you what humans can do," Captain Cooper replied with a big smile. The battle turned around completely in less than an hour. The void swarm ships that were not stopped by Kate's reality waves tried to run away, but the boosted human ships hunted them down easily. Soon the space around planet Kepler was full of floating enemy wrecks instead of attacking monsters. But Kate's machine was not finished yet. The reality-breaking waves kept spreading outward, reaching other enemy fleets that were light years away. Reports started coming in from all over the galaxy. Void swarm attacks were stopping everywhere as Kate's waves hit them. "Kate, you need to see this," said Sam, pointing to his communication screen. It showed messages from dozens of planets. The reality waves are still spreading. They have reached the Zeta system, the Alpha Centauri colonies, even the alien homeworlds. Kate sat down hard in a chair. She had hoped her machine would work in one battle. She had never imagined it would affect the entire galaxy. "How far will the waves go?" asked Rose. Kate looked at her calculations. "I do not know. Maybe everywhere. Maybe forever." The radio crackled with more messages. Alien voices that had laughed at Kate 3 months ago were now praising her name. The crystal being Brightstar was practically singing with joy. "The human female has done the impossible. The void swarm threat is ended." But the most important message came from Earth. Admiral Miller's voice was full of amazement. "Dr. Morrison, this is command. The entire enemy fleet attacking our solar system just went dead. You saved Earth. You saved everyone." Kate felt tears running down her face. For 6 years, she had worked on this project while people told her she was wasting her time. For 3 months, she had built her machine while aliens made fun of her. Now, in 1 hour, she had ended a war that had been killing millions of people. "We did it," she whispered to her crew. "We actually did it." Captain Cooper put his hand on her shoulder. "No, Kate, you did it. You saved the galaxy." The crew of the brave fighter cheered and hugged each other. They had volunteered for what everyone thought was a suicide mission, but instead they had become the most famous heroes in galactic history. Outside their ship, the space around planet Kepler was peaceful for the first time in 3 years. The void swarm was finished. The war was over. And it had all been won by one human woman who refused to believe that anything was impossible. As news of the victory spread across the galaxy, Kate Morrison's name became known on every world. The aliens who had laughed at her now spoke of her with deep respect. The humans who had doubted her now called her the greatest hero of their species. But Kate was not thinking about fame or glory. She was thinking about all the people who would now live because the Void Swarm could no longer hurt them. That was worth more than any praise or reward. The age of human respect in the galaxy had begun, and it started with one battle that changed everything. 2 weeks after the Battle of Kepler, Kate stood in the same meeting room where the aliens had laughed at her. But everything was different now. The room was completely silent. Every alien delegate looked at her with respect and amazement. Some even seemed afraid of what she might do next. Kate wore her simple blue uniform, the same one she had worn months ago. But now she carried herself differently. She was no longer the unknown human female asking for a chance. She was the person who had ended the greatest war in galactic history. Ambassador Zek, the reptile alien who had made fun of her before, spoke first. His voice was quiet and respectful. Dr. Morrison, our best scientists have studied what you did at Kepler. They tell us that your reality breaker device should not be possible to build. Impossible is just a word people use when they have not figured out how to do something yet, Kate replied calmly. The crystal being Bright Star was glowing with soft blue colors that showed deep respect. We have lived for thousands of years, but we have never seen anything like what you accomplished. How did humans learn to break the laws of physics? Kate smiled. We did not break any laws. We just found laws that you did not know existed. Admiral Miller sat next to Kate this time instead of looking embarrassed like before. Behind them sat Captain Cooper and several crew members from the Brave Fighter. The whole human delegation looked proud and confident. The reports from across the galaxy are still coming in, said General Rockface, the mountain alien. Your reality waves reached over 10,000 star systems. Every Void Swarm ship in the galaxy stopped working at exactly the same time. In one day, you ended a war that had killed billions of people. Kate felt the weight of what she had done. She had started this project to prove that humans deserved respect. She had ended up saving every living creature in the galaxy. The Void Swarm is completely finished, added the fish alien from Waterworld. Their motherships, their factories, their breeding planets, everything connected to their technology died when your waves hit them. The bird creature from Sky Planet ruffled its feathers nervously. We need to discuss what happens next. Your reality breaker technology is the most powerful weapon ever created. What are your intentions with it? This was the question Kate had been waiting for. She stood up and looked around the room at all the alien faces. My intentions are simple, she said. I want to share this technology with everyone, but only under certain conditions. The room buzzed with excited alien voices. They had expected Kate to make demands, but they did not know what she would ask for. What conditions? Asked Ambassador Zek. Kate walked to the big screen and showed a document she had prepared. First, humanity gets full membership in the Galactic Council with equal voting rights. No more being treated like children who just learned to walk. Several aliens nodded. This seemed fair after what Kate had done. Second, the reality breaker technology can only be used for defense, never for attacking innocent people. Any species that breaks this rule loses access to the technology forever. More nodding around the room. This also seemed reasonable. Third, humans get to help lead the new Galactic Defense Force. We want to make sure the galaxy stays peaceful. General Rockface made a sound like grinding stones. These terms are acceptable. What else? Kate smiled. That is all. I told you. My intentions were simple. The aliens looked confused. They had expected Kate to demand gold, planets, or slaves. Instead, she only wanted respect and peace. You could ask for anything, said Bright Star. You could rule the entire galaxy if you wanted. Why do you only ask for equality? Because, Kate said, humans do not want to rule over others. We want to work together to make life better for everyone. The vote was quick and unanimous. Humanity would become a full member of the Galactic Council immediately. Kate would be the first human director of advanced technology, with the power to decide how her inventions were used. After the meeting, Kate found herself surrounded by alien scientists. and military leaders who wanted to understand her work. The same beings who had called her ideas impossible now begged her to teach them. "Dr. Morrison," said a young Zephyrian scientist, "could you explain how you discovered the connection between dimensional fields and quantum matrices?" Kate spent hours answering questions and sharing her knowledge. She realized that teaching others was almost as satisfying as making the discoveries herself. Later that day, Kate and her crew returned to the Brave Fighter. The old ship had been repaired and upgraded as a reward for their service. It was now one of the most famous vessels in the galaxy. "So what do we do now, Doc?" asked Chief Engineer Rose as they sat in the ship's kitchen sharing a meal. "We saved. The galaxy got humanity into the big leagues and became the most famous crew in space. What comes next?" Kate looked out the window at the stars. Her mind was already working on new problems and new possibilities. "The Void Swarm was just one threat," she said. "The galaxy is huge and full of mysteries. There are probably other dangers out there that we do not even know about yet." Captain Cooper raised his coffee cup. "So we keep exploring and protecting people?" "Exactly," Kate said. "But now we will not be doing it alone. Humans are finally part of the galactic community." "Pilot," Jenny Gray laughed. "Remember when everyone thought we were crazy for volunteering for this mission?" "They were right," said Weapons Officer Lisa White. "We were crazy. But sometimes being crazy is exactly what the situation needs." Communications Officer Sam Davis checked his message screen. "Kate, we are getting hundreds of requests from planets asking for help with their problems. Apparently everyone thinks that if you can end a galactic war, you can solve anything." Kate felt excited and nervous at the same time. People across the galaxy now believed that humans could do impossible things. That was a big responsibility. "We will help as many people as we can," she decided. "But first I want to go home to Earth and see my family. It has been a long time since I have seen a normal blue sky." 3 days later, the Brave Fighter landed at the main spaceport on Earth. Thousands of people were waiting to welcome Kate home. Signs and banners called her the hero of humanity and the woman who saved everyone. But Kate was not looking at the crowds. She was looking at her parents, who were crying with joy and pride. She had not seen them in 2 years. "I always knew you would do something amazing," her mother said as they hugged. "I just wish your father could have seen this," said her dad, remembering Kate's grandfather who had taught her to never give up on her dreams. As Kate walked through the crowds of celebrating people, she thought about how much had changed in just a few months. She had gone from being a laughed-at scientist to the most respected human in the galaxy. But the most important thing had not changed. She was still the same person who believed that impossible was just another word for not done yet. The galaxy was about to discover what else humans could accomplish when they put their minds to it. And Kate Morrison would be leading the way, one impossible dream at a time. The age of humanity among the stars had truly begun.